Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Between the Covers podcast, where we are working every day to remove the self-limiting beliefs that are preventing us from becoming the heroes of our own stories. I am Marcus Spar, and today I want to talk about trusting our bodies. This is something that I have done a lot of work on since I really started my own journey of overcoming my maladaptive coping mechanisms with food and video games and pornography. And one of the things that is, I wish that it was more unique than it actually is. However, in the Christian tradition that I was raised in, one of the things that I was often told, and I worked with many people who have heard this same thing, is how our bodies are inherently bad. In the Christian faith, our bodies are sinful. And because of that, we are told to not trust our bodies. One of the things I've learned is how we are often encouraged to rationally and logically think our way through things. However, that's a bit of a challenge to do once we get into an emotional state. And one of the things about this is it doesn't even come just from individuals who believe what the Christian church has been telling us. This is something that comes from parents, it comes from relatives, it comes from other members in authority like politicians or teachers or managers. We're talking other spiritual authorities, we're talking coaches. We are inundated with other people telling us that they know what's best for us or what's better for us, and therefore we need to just listen to what they say and don't trust what our bodies are actually trying to tell us. This is inherently problematic because our bodies do a lot of things in order to keep us safe. We're talking survival here. If there is someone or something that you just are not getting good vibes from, it's worth tuning in to figure out why that is. What's happening in your body? In fact, one of the things that is troublesome about this mindset is you can get to a position where I've been off and on now for over a year now, where I am so busy and not listening to my body that I end up getting into areas of discomfort is probably the best way for me to describe it. I legitimately feel discomfort in my body because I'm not paying attention to it. It could even be something as simple as I didn't have my lunch today, and so I am hangry, or I just have nausea or some kind of discomfort in my gut, and it gets to the point where I can no longer ignore it to recognize, oh, I'm not listening to my body. I'm so distracted by everything else that's going on around me. I often like to use this example that I have heard so many times before. I've even seen it in my own family. This example is you have a family gathering and everyone's just having a great time there. You're seeing some family that you haven't seen in a while. And it's time for you and your spouse and your kids to leave. And you tell all your kids, okay, go ahead and give hugs to everyone. And there is that one family member. Maybe it's an uncle, it's an aunt, it's a grandparent. Regardless, there is this one family member that one of your kids just does not want to give a hug to. What is often said to the child is, just go give Grandpa Joey a hug. Or give Grandma Meredith a hug. Whatever it is, the parents tell the child, just give the hug. Instead of giving the child the bodily autonomy to say, I don't want to give this person a hug, they are instead told, I need to just listen to mom and dad and give this person a hug, even though for the child there could be something that they just don't like about this individual. That is an example of someone learning not to trust their bodies. I have heard stories from clients, from friends of mine, from some people that have had, if we play the comparison game, much more traumatic stories than I've experienced. One of the things that these people have shared is how they were told to not trust what their bodies were telling them because the people who were in authority, they knew what was better. Yet deep down, there was something in their gut. There was something about the way that this individual looked at them, spoke to them, that just made them feel uncomfortable. And for most kids, they are not able to express what it is that they are feeling. And one of my mentors, Drew Boa, has really spearheaded in his community the thought of just feeling icky. Maybe someone says something and it just doesn't feel right and you can't quite place what's wrong about it, but you just feel icky. If you feel icky, there is a reason why you're feeling that way. Maybe it's something from your past. Maybe it's something that this person is actually saying or doing that is making you feel this way. In the end, though, listen to your body. You're feeling that way for a reason, which many of us are told not to. I have heard stories of individuals who have been sexually abused and sexually molested by family members. We're talking nuclear family, we're talking extended family, from neighbors, from friends. While this is going on, many of these people have been told that it's their fault. There are predators who will take advantage of young children and will make comments about how, oh, if you just weren't so cute. No, that has nothing to do with the child. And yet, this child has a betrayal in their body, and for a lot of them, they are unable to properly express what's going on. And it seems to be turning around, yet this is absolutely an example of trying to turn a ship like the Titanic around. There are people now who are starting to actually listen to these children. And yet there are still so many people that don't believe them. And that's what's really sad here. So a child tries to explain to a trusted adult that there is something going on in my body. I don't know what that is. And it involves this person. And they don't believe them. In the end, it is important for us to trust the signals that our bodies are sending us. We have a fear response that is tied with our amygdala, which ironically is a part of our brain that is about the size of an almond, and it's very close to the brainstem. This little piece of the gargantuan thing inside of our skulls dictates our survival response. It sends cortisol and other hormones and neurochemicals throughout our body in order for us to be prepared to take whatever steps are necessary for our survival. When we are told not to trust our bodies, We do not listen to these signals. If you have someone who maybe it's the first time you met them, and after a handshake and you're having a conversation, they just kind of come up and they put their hand on your shoulder, that is, first of all, a breach of your bodily autonomy. Your shoulder is not their property to place their hand on. And at the same time, it might be someone that you have heard really good things about, and because of that, your body sends a signal that says, oh, we should probably move away. This is uncomfortable and unnecessary. And yet our brains will kick in and say, no, it's really not that big of a deal. He's just being friendly. You'll notice that I'm using he a lot in these examples. Let's face it, you can't go a day typically without seeing some kind of article about the predatory nature of a lot of men because of, unfortunately, how they have been brought up. Yet the same is true for women as well. There are individuals out there that want to take advantage of us. And if they find someone that they can manipulate in this way, because we're misreading the cues or just disregarding the cues that our bodies are sending us, that's going to get us into trouble. That is why I am such a proponent for us trusting our bodies. Take a moment to check in. Your body might even be having a response to what I'm saying right now. Maybe this is something that you've heard before. Maybe it's reminding you of some memories or experiences that you've had in the past. Whatever the reason is, check in with your body. Why are you feeling the way that you are? What's coming up inside of you? Are you experiencing some kind of stress response? Like your hands getting a little bit clammy. Maybe your heart rate is increasing a little bit. Maybe you're starting to feel warm and you're getting flush in the cheeks. Maybe you're just feeling tightness in your back or your shoulders or even just in your arms or your legs. Check in with your body. What's it trying to tell you? It lets us know when we do not feel safe. Even if mentally we're not cognizant of it. It lets us know when we are not feeling safe. Again, there is a reason why you are feeling and responding the way that you are. There are going to be moments when legitimately there's nothing to be afraid of. And the person that you are interacting with or the thing that you are interacting with is not really a threat or a danger. That doesn't change that you responded the way that you did. It could be cluing into something from your past. It could be revealing an experience that you had when you were younger that you were violated, that you were taken advantage of, that you were harmed, that you were hurt, that you were bullied, you were abused. Whatever it happens to be. Sometimes we will receive messages that will remind us of these things. Maybe it's something that you hear. Maybe it's something that you smell. Maybe it's someone who resembles a bully or some kind of perpetrator from your past. Your body is responding in order to protect you, and that is okay. If you have one of these responses, and it is one of these scenarios where legitimately there was nothing to be concerned about, then that's something that you could look into. In fact, I would highly encourage that you look into it, because you could be having some kind of traumatic response to something from your past that you need a professional to help you with. If you know full well what your story is, and you have been doing a lot of work in order to become the hero of your own story, and you interact with someone and something just doesn't feel right about it, then that is a valuable piece of information because your body is trying to protect you. Instead of ignoring the body, instead of ignoring what the signals are that it's trying to tell us, what would happen if we actually checked in? What would happen if we actually listened to what our body is trying to tell us? How much safer could we be? How well could we avoid uncomfortable or even harmful situations? We could even avoid being involved with certain individuals because there is something inherently not right, or we'll say unbalanced, in a relationship. One of the things that really stands out to me is the number of people that have tried to number of people who have tried to sell me something from a multi-level marketing scheme, or a pyramid scheme as they're often called. There is someone that I used to go to church with that I swear every single year she had the newest get-rich-quick scheme that she was employing and trying to recruit others into. When something like that happens, oh, my body responds to it. I'm feeling used. I'm feeling like in that moment it feels like I'm only being looked at with dollar signs. How much money can this person make off of me? And my body responds. I have been in this position before. I have been the one who has engaged in this kind of position. In fact, oh man, here's something that hits really close to home for me. There was a summer that I was selling Cutco knives. And don't get me wrong, Cutco knives are really good. The method of which they were trying to sell them, it was still very go door to door. With the caveat that by going door to door, that means reach out to your friends and family in order to get some practice in selling. And while you were there giving a presentation and hopefully trying to make a sale off of these people, they would give you the names and phone numbers of friends that they think would benefit from this, and it just spiraled from there. I really only did that. I might have just done it for like 2 months in the summer. I was not comfortable in that job. In fact, I'm often not comfortable in sales positions because I don't like looking at people that way. I don't like looking at individuals in terms of how much money they can make me. And when I walked in order to quit, I got to the point where it's like, nope, I can't do this anymore. And I walked in and I told my boss at the time that I just can't do this anymore. I'm quitting. I told him that the reason why is because I could not walk into these other people's homes without feeling like I was invading their space, invading their privacy. There was just something that was not right about it. And this guy looked at me and his legitimate response was, well, you didn't learn that from us. And I just, internally, I rolled my eyes and I'm like, well, hell yeah, I didn't learn that from you. I've actually got some scruples here. That's coming across a little harsh, that whole scruples comment. But that was an incident where I trusted my body. I knew that there was something about this that just did not feel right for me. I think it was just within a year, that office that we were meeting in and talking about all this kind of stuff, it closed down. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it moved somewhere else. I wouldn't be surprised if it was legitimately just closed down because it's an intrusive model. All that being said, it is important for us to trust what our bodies are trying to tell us, because we are here today because our amygdala is telling our bodies something isn't right here. We need to be prepared to fight, flight, freeze, whatever the fear response is. We need to be prepared. And those who do not listen to those cues are the ones who can oftentimes be hurt. They are oftentimes the ones who, if we think back on like a very early human model of this, these are the people that didn't trust that someone else was just out to get them and they didn't survive. Or that this wasn't a good time to hunt because there's a pack of predators that were coming through, but I'm still going to go out and hunt, and then you don't come back home. It's survival. Our bodies are always looking out for our survival. I think one of the things that is oftentimes taking place is we are parts of communities where we are told we can trust the people within this community. There are individuals who are a part of this community, this church, this country club. I don't know. I'm really struggling to come up with examples of communities. But there are people in these communities that we can trust. Why? Because someone who has been in this position or in this group, in this community for longer says they can be trusted. And because of that, if we feel something icky, let's go back to that word again. If we feel something icky about how this person looks at us, how they talk to us, how they interact with us, how close they are in proximity to us compared to other people, and we're told, nope, we can trust them, then we don't trust what our bodies are telling us. And it puts us in a compromised position. In the end, it is important for us to trust our bodies. I know that if I were to post something like this on social media, there would likely be responses of people saying, but you can't trust your body because of X, Y, and Z. Again, going back to those examples about how the body is inherently bad, so you can't trust it. That hasn't been my experience. There are things about my body that definitely need to be worked through because of things that have happened in my past that have created patterns and behaviors, but my body is not bad, and it is worth trusting because it is trying to protect me. I am here today because of the survival instincts from me, from my parents, from my grandparents, my great-grandparents, going all the way down the line. We made decisions to survive. And we can do that. And you can do that as well. You are here because of the times that your body has told you this isn't right, and you made a decision to act on these impulses that your body was sending you because it was trying to protect you. You're here because of that. I have no doubts about it. I'm here. In fact, part of my story is I almost didn't make it to here. I almost didn't make it out of high school before I ended my life. And I chose to listen to what my body was saying. And that was pick up the phone and make a call. And I did. And I'm here to tell you, because I listened to my body, I was able to survive not just another day, but another 2 decades, and I'm still going. Trust your body. Trust that it's looking out for your best interest. If there's something that doesn't quite make sense, talk with someone about it. Talk with someone that you can trust. Someone who can look at your situation from the outside and tell you, yeah, that seems very valid, or, I think you might be overreacting a little bit, and here's why. Find someone who can be compassionate and empathetic to what you are experiencing. I hope that this conversation has inspired you to just trust your body. And until next time, live strong for today. Thanks so much for watching or listening to this podcast. If you like what you're hearing, then give this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. If you are interested in working with me, then take a look in the description where you can find my website or a link just to schedule a free 50-minute one-on-one call with me. Looking forward to talking with you soon.